No, ecco. Allora, to start, I would like to thank Luigi Einaudi Foundation and in particular the fantastic team Simona, Renata, and everyone. And I would like to give you my personal vision about the current situation and to start to analyze the Green Deal, but also your studies that I think they are very original and very interesting. And thank to inviting me to this presentation. I think it's an important contribution to a topical issue and an important comparison between countries to underline the development energy market in Europe, especially PPAs and RIC. Our energy system is very dependent on fossil fuel, we know, and we still haven't found the key to having an alternative model with low price, large quantity of energy, and zero impact. In Italian language, we can call this idea il trilemma dell'energia, energy trilemma. The question I ask myself and to you, of course, is will we be able to achieve the ecologic transition by following the current logic, often based on the last century culture, and more important, in a short time? Well, the recent energy crisis has sped up the reform process of European electricity market, and also the desire to promote the role of renewable electricity sources. Now, is this the only possible way to achieve decarbonization? And one more question, are we on the right track? In my opinion, I don't think it will be so easy, but not impossible. We know the limits of a renewable system. We have only implemented the renewable sources without real integration with other source electricity production. Hydroelectric or photovoltaic and wind power now don't guarantee a balance between the energy produced and consumed. Now, but in the future, I hope so. They still present storage problem and some difficulty. For example, according to the European Commission, meeting the green target will require investment in Europe electricity networks of about 600 billion euros per year until 2030. And much of this sum is expected to come from private sources or to be paid through network tariff, especially in Italy, is a political problem. And without forgetting the increase in our dependence on Chinese raw materials. Therefore, it's essential to improve flexibility, security, efficiency, and resilience of the European energy system. And of course, we need to insist quickly on the decarbonization of our society. In my opinion, I need a management model that proceeds through intermediate and flexible steps. And we should invest in the planning of the technological neutrality, implementing different technological solutions. In particular, with an integration system with renewable, with other more stable sources. In Italy, for example, the important role of natural gas in the electricity system. But also now with the green gas, like hydrogen, a blending system, we know. At the moment, we are still not ready, of course, but now to outline your studies. The legislation must be including this integrated vision. This is why I think your study is important, because it contains useful elements and advice for the European lawmakers. And your study makes us understand that Europe needs to collaborate and make any possible effort to share knowledge. No to decide, said Luigi Einaudi a lot of time ago. And we need a holistic and not an ideological approach where regulation tools are connected with technological solution. In conclusion, where I come from, we say, if you go alone, you go fast. But together, we go farther. And we know that Europe needs to go together and to go farther. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for the invitation. Thanks to Einaudi Foundation. So I want only to discuss about renewable energy communities because the PPAs are a complex instrument. Exactly, it's a little bit complicated for me to say something useful. I think that in Italy, I don't know in the public discussion in other countries, but in Italy, the renewable energy communities are entering in the list of magic words in the public discussion. Energy community, like circular economy, like zero waste, like all these symbols, very simple words, very simple that maybe anybody understand exactly what they want to, what they mean, but people use in the public discussion, maybe most of time politicians, or because it sounds good. Good, it's not complicated, it's good. I think that if you call a politician, an average politician, you ask, write me in a blackboard, what is it, energy community? He is not able to do that because many persons in Italy, I think, imagine that renewable energy community means we stay together in a small village in the mountain. We buy something to produce energy and we don't pay nothing. This is, I think, what the people imagine. When you, it's correct. When you study what is it in the reality, the energy community, you understand that it's not absolutely in this way. It's a very complicated thing. There is no direct connection with the electricity system, but it's an incentive with money to the legal entity, and the legal entity decide how to deliver the money to the parts. So there is no connection with the supply of so I think in Italy, I don't know, maybe it's the directive in this way, and so maybe it's all Europe. So I think that all the instruments we can use to the decarbonization, to the energy transition, and to ecological transition are good, including the energy community. Also, if it's but it's one of the many things that combine the puzzle of the different solution. Sometimes happen that in the public discussion, someone say that it is the most important instrument. It is not so. I think we have to be very clear between us and say that the numbers the dimension of the instrument is, I think it will not be a strong, a big instrument in the quantitative way. During the afternoon, I asked to people how much is it the dimension, the average dimension of the hypothesis of energy community in Italy, 5 gigawatt on 123, and maybe 5 will be a very incredible target, because it means to me to make 5,000, 10,000 communities. It's incredible. So, I think we have to reduce the appeal of this instrument to the reality, because it's a good instrument, but it's not the sole action. There is not a magic word. It's something interesting. In Italy, we have a problem because we don't have now the last decision of the government about the incentives, so it's very difficult to understand if it should be possible to have some results or not. So when we will have, we will discuss. On the side, I think that the not material benefit, the not material contents of the renewable energy communities are stronger than the material impact. If I am a customer, maybe I'm not so interested to enter because I want to pay less. Also because it's not so. You have not, the incentive is in another direction. If you are a company, maybe it's not exactly because you earn money and you do business, because it's no profit activity. So why we are discussing about this? Because maybe this instrument has a strong force for the not material contents and approach. So social integration, social identity, strategy of the business, not directly connected with the economical results, but connecting with the communities. So this is the part interesting of the instrument. I don't know if this part that is very interesting could be enough to move people and companies to do something, because the economical instruments are very few. I imagine that, I don't know, Gianni, but I imagine that an average community, we are talking about some €1,000 for a year, not 100,000, something less. That is interesting, but it's not something that move people. Oh, I want to make it, because it's not so much. But at the same time, maybe it could be an instrument, for example, to consent to have a plant, a renewable plant in a place with a good acceptability of the social and of the community. This is not a material argument, because I want to make a lot of solar field. But maybe through the instrument of the energy community, I can make something that is not in contrast with the opinion, with the public opinion. And so this is another interesting aspect of this instrument. I finish with will the renewable energy community will have success? It depends on two things, maybe. The first is the dimension of the incentives. We don't know now in Italy now. Maybe if we make a wrong decision about the incentives, we don't have any success perspective in the future. So I don't know what the government is studying. The other things, I think this could be an argument of Professor Becchis, is very expert, is transaction costs. It may be more than the economical results. It will be important how much complicated is to make a community. In Italy, we are making a big monster now. If we don't stop and to make something easier, I think as we are very able in Italy to do, it's a very complicated framework. And people, this is the real, maybe is the most important thing to have the success in this instrument. And so I hope that we can make for one time in our life something easy. I think it's not so, because I studied renewable energy community since the last 2 months, and only yesterday I think I maybe understand something. Only because I was here to discuss with you about this argument. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for the invitation. Well, Andrea, you touch a very sensible point. That is the cost of building up a new organization. And let me just introduce the fact that in everyday life, normal people have a lot of problem to solve with school, kids, paying the bills, and condominium assemblies, and it seems so hard for me to add another side hustle, another headache, that is building up an energy community that, as Andrea has quoted, has no direct economic benefit in the medium term. But my short contribution is not about this aspect, it's about the economic theory of organization, not to give a lecture, but because when we talk about organizations, it can be firms, cooperatives, churches, what you want, and energy communities too. We should, in my view, start from the basic result of economic theory that show us the main aspect of the working of organization, and also the main problems. And energy communities are full of the traditional problems of organization, or if you want, collective action, or if you want, firm theory. Let me just quote 3 or 4 as a contribution. First, we have the typical problem that is embedded in public firms of shareholders, quantity of shareholders, and the necessity of central management. Second, we have the typical problem of the principal-agent relationship, in which the principal has limited information. The principal is the manager of the energy community, the firm, and the agent, sorry, the principal is the community, and the agent is the manager. And we know that in the principal-agent relationship, there is a strong asymmetry of information. And the strong asymmetry of information produce distrust and negative behavior. And distrust and negative behavior produce normally not optimal output. And in the case of community, not optimal result. But probably the 2 most relevant problems are, first, the problem of profit sharing or profit reinvesting. The decision about this issue, that is about money distributed or retained, is crucial, and all the problem I've quoted fall directly into this decision. And finally, probably the most relevant one is a typical problem that has been analyzed since the 19th century by the economists in microeconomics. That is, when your effort is individual and the benefit is collective, a big problem stems out. That is the problem of public goods and free riding. So imagine a community composed by 100 families, and 30 families make a strong effort to save energy. Shower, lighting, heating, and so on. And they contribute to a strong saving in the energy consumption that, as Andrea has told, is not the consumption of local energies, but is derived from the utilities. So these 30 families contribute, and the other 70 families continue business as usual. What do you think about the problem of reciprocal trust between neighborhoods? I'm saving, I'm effort, and you not. And you will receive the same proportion of, eventually, the profit sharing if the manager, the agent, decide to divide. So, public good, individual effort, free riding problem are problems that has not been solved by the economic policy until now. And I don't think that they will be solved by energy communities. But anyway, let me conclude with the fact that when we try to organize something that is based on collective trust, cohesion, social capital, in a way we do something of good, independently of the energy output that can be very irrelevant. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for our discussion. If there are no more questions to pose for everyone, I'm just asking you frankly if you are available for Alessio Pisano to do like a really short interview. I'm talking about the authors, like 30 seconds, one question each, in a short way so that we can have a little rest before the dinner, and then we will see with the minister, okay? So every author feel free to go to Alessio with the banner behind. One question each, and then you can be free to go.
What's your problem about walking alone fast?
Oh. Andrea, can you shot me 2 photos from this? Great. Thank you. Grazie. Let me. Okay. Grazie.